Hi everyone, Sarah Davies here from Philanthropy Australia. Thanks for your time. I just want to take a few minutes to do a bit of a summary of 2018 as we race madly towards the end of the year, and also give you a bit of a heads up about what's heading our way in 2019. I'd like to start with our member connecting and convening. A critical part of what we do is obviously bringing people together for purpose. So we've had about 80 member network events this year across a whole range of areas, whether that's our Indigenous Funder Network or our Family Foundations Group or our evaluation network. Our thought leadership events this year, we've had a number of them. Most recently, the Diana Leet series in partnership with QUT, where she was talking about some of the lessons that she learned from disaster recovery funding in the UK following the Grenfell fire and the London terrorism attacks. We've had David Carrington, we've had a number of our members Under the Hood series talking about their strategies and their programs, and a real highlight for me was the series that we ran in March this year in partnership with Perpetual and Taxi from South Australia, where we brought Stephen Huddart out from the McConnell Family Foundation in Canada to talk about system change and innovation. Storytelling has also been a major focus for us again this year, and increasingly, I mean, every management or leadership article I read is talking about the importance of storytelling. So our chief storyteller, Nicole, has continued to write amazing case studies of our members' practice to try and socialise and promulgate and expose good practice and ideas and innovation to our members to inspire others. We ran a series of storytelling workshops for our members that have actually proved very popular, and so on demand we will run a repeat series next year, as that will not diminish the ability or the effectiveness of how we tell our stories to various audiences is really critical to the success of our work. So thank you very much to the members who support our storytelling initiative. The Better Giving Hub, a major innovation this year, our goal to build this online community of practice. It is our digital online member portal, if you like, a whole heap of resources there. We have Philanthropy TV, we've got research reports, we've got the funder network groups. Please, if you haven't checked it out, have a look. Increasingly, we will be using it to disseminate information, case studies, and to help you manage your membership effectively. And within the Better Giving Hub, another major initiative this year is Foundation Maps Australia. And if you haven't had a chance to check that out, I really recommend that you do. We launched this at the conference in September. It's our partnership with the Foundation Centre out of New York. And this is our goal to build a dynamic live database of all of the philanthropic grants funding in Australia. The insight and the information and the intelligence that will give us as funders and as fund seekers is just invaluable. So if you're not on the map and you haven't shared your data, it's really easy to do that. Please go in and do it. This is year one. We already have over 30% of all the philanthropic grants in Australia represented. Please help us build that because it is for everybody's benefit. So talking about better giving, we had our 4th annual Australian Philanthropy Awards in partnership with AGN, AWDN, Ninety One and DFAT. And we really appreciate the partners who share our goal to inspire more philanthropy within Australia. We had the awards function at the iconic Sydney Opera House, which was a lot of fun. We had a packed house. And importantly, we celebrated 7 outstanding case studies of what effective contemporary philanthropy looks like. And if you are not familiar with the case studies and you have a spare moment over the summer break, I really encourage you to go to the awards website and read. They're very short, they're very digestible. Read the case studies of those 7 award winners, because it really is outstanding philanthropy, community partnership and outstanding change. Completely inspiring. Our major flagship event this year has, of course, been the conference in Melbourne in September, where we had over 740 of our members vigorously discussing the topic, is purpose enough? So we had a lot of inspiration, we had a fair degree of provocation, we had some very constructive disagreement and argument, and we heard from so many outstanding leaders and practitioners. A highlight for me was our Philanthropy Leaders panel with Odette Excel, Alan English and Ian Darling. I thought that the authenticity and power of that conversation was really compelling. And we also heard from international leaders, Larry Kramer from the Hewlett Foundation, we had Fred Blackwell from the San Francisco Community Foundation, Danielle Walker-Palmer from the UK, all of whom adding to our shared and growing understanding about what it's going to take to create effective change and how philanthropy can continue to be deployed to do that. So thank you all for being part of the conference. We had over 80 speakers. Really appreciate your involvement, and we've already started planning the 2020 conference. Now, underpinning all of this is another key element of our work as a membership organisation and peak body, which is obviously the policy and advocacy work. And you know that as an organisation, we have been ramping that up over the last few years with many of our members' support. So thank you for that. And this year was no different. And in fact, I think this year has proved more than ever the absolute criticality of having an informed and collective voice around policy and systems for the community. It's been a frantic year in some ways around our policy and advocacy work. There are some storm clouds. It has been a bit chilling, whether intended or otherwise. The consequences of some of the things that we have needed to respond to or be aware of could have been really significant. So in terms of some of the agenda items, we've obviously had the electoral reform bill, and whilst we're not 100% there yet, I think it's pretty safe to claim a win for the sector in terms of our policy and advocacy work around the electoral reform bill. What we have ended up with now and what passed the Senate, I think, is a really good bill that achieves bipartisan political outcomes around managing electioneering and funding during electioneering, but leaves civil society and the community sector free, as it should be, to engage in policy-related issue advocacy. So many thanks to all our partners. We worked really hard all year on that. Many of our members, in particular our philanthropy champions who worked hard on influencing behind the scenes, thank you all very much. We've also had the ACNC review, and we are still waiting on the government's response to that. The review report was released a couple of months ago. It's a terrific report. You can see it all on our website. Current at the moment is the fixed fundraising campaign. And I know I sound like a grumpy old what's it when I talk about this, but this is something that many of us in the sector have been working on for over 10 years around a single national sensible framework for fundraising. We have the solution. We are very much part of the fixed fundraising campaign. In terms of Philanthropy Australia's initiatives, well, obviously we welcome Sarah Wickham as our new Policy and Advocacy Manager, and Christian through his role with CSI remaining as a Strategic Policy Advisor. So we have a really powerful team. Earlier this year, we released a report, The Power of Advocacy, trying to showcase how advocacy can be a really legitimate and effective part of the philanthropic toolkit. And continuing that, we will be releasing a toolkit next year to help members really drill down into how the various advocacy components can be used. And we'll be releasing that at the summit. So talking about the summit, a little preview about what's coming up in 2019. So 2019, well, obviously we will continue to invest in the Better Giving Hub and Foundation Maps Australia, and I've already talked about that, so please join us on continuing that. We've got the summit in Canberra in September or October. As soon as they release the sitting dates, we will set the dates for the summit, which again advances the advocacy discussions. We will continue all our connecting and convening funder networks. Our thought leadership series is filling out very quickly. We'll start the year with a national workshop program exploring how to really create partnership and collaboration between grant makers and grant recipients. So keep an eye out for that. We'll follow it up pretty quickly with the Centre for Evaluation and Innovation from the US, who are world's best practice in impact assessment and evaluation, and also in particular starting to explore how to evaluate the impact of advocacy, again a national thought leadership program. We have a number of speakers coming out, and we will continue to be showcasing the best of Australian philanthropy because we've got bucket loads of that here. So the awards program again next year, please think about who you might like to nominate yourselves, nominate colleagues. We really have fantastic practice. We're running another study tour to Canada, so we went to Israel this year, UK last year, and due to popular demand, Canada next year. The theme of the program is really going to be around innovation and systems change and how the various sectors can work together, but a strong sub-theme is actually going to be around philanthropy and Indigenous community partnership and collaboration. So places for that are limited. It's for private and family foundations. If you're interested, please let me know. That will be October next year. I've talked a bit about the advocacy work that will continue into next year. We will be launching a major piece of research that we've been doing this year on the economic case for philanthropy in Q1, which again will build out into programs throughout the year. So it just leaves me to conclude by wishing you all a very happy and safe summer break, a fabulous 2019. I would like to thank all our members for their support, their membership, their engagement. We can do nothing without members. Everything we do is actually using your energy, your IP, your work. So thank you for being part of that. A particular thank you to our philanthropy champions, who this year have had their shoulder to the mill and have worked with us across all of these policy and advocacy issues. Thank you so much for your support and for helping build a much stronger and more powerful sector. So we're 2 years into our 4-year strategic map. The shoots are green. The energy is high, the appetite's enormous, the motivation's pretty sparky too, so please, we look forward to reconnecting with you early in the new year and thrashing out 2019 together. Thank you.